Three, two, one.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Becky and I do true crime videos. Today I will not be doing a face introduction because I just want to get this video posted for you. It has been a month since I posted and I am feeling it. Every single day I have wanted to come on and edit this video, but the last month has been crazy for me because of uni and everything like that. But I want to say a massive thank you to all of the support that I have received in this last month. It has really kept me motivated, and you just don't understand what that means to me. I have had so many new subscribers, hello, and I have had so many comments. Thank you so much for these interactions. It really helps my channel grow. Now, today is a very triggering case and it's graphic, so I will be putting up all the trigger warnings as usual, but today we are going to be talking about the Lalaurie mansion in Madame Delphine. This is a historical case because I do listen to you guys. You said that you find them interesting, so here we go. Without further ado, let's get into today's case. The infamous Madame Delphine was born as Marie Delphine McCarthy. She was born on March 17, 1787, in New Orleans. Her parents were Louis Barthélemy McCartney and Marie-Jeanne Le Hablouet. Their family had moved from Ireland to New Orleans. Her parents were prominent European Creoles and high up in New Orleans society. When Delphine was born, her uncle was the governor of the two Spanish-American provinces. Later, her cousin would become mayor of the city of New Orleans. When growing up, Delphine was known to be a gentle and sweet daughter and came from a well-to-do family. However, she turned into a very cruel woman who conducted horrific acts on her enslaved people and even her own daughters. In 1800, when Delphine was just 13 years old, she married a Spanish officer named Don Ramon de Lopez y Angolo. In 1804, they were either moving or were just visiting Spain. However, when they were traveling to Spain, Delphine gave birth to her daughter, Marie. Her husband, Don, unfortunately died before they reached Madrid. In 1808, Delphine married Jean Blanc, who was a banker. The couple had 4 more children. Her second husband died 8 years after they got married. Then, finally, she married Dr. Leonard Lalaurie in 1825. He was a lot younger than Delphine. The couple moved into the Lalaurie mansion. Allegedly, her third marriage was extremely rocky and made her go insane. It was said that her 2 previous husbands died of strange causes. The Lalauries did own enslaved people. However, in the 1830s, rumors began to circulate that Delphine and possibly her husband were mistreating the enslaved people. Yet some reports state that Leonard Lalaurie left his wife, much to her own devices, and rarely saw her. On at least 2 occasions, court representatives went to the Lalaurie home with reminders. It is believed that she had as many as 75 enslaved people at one time. Yes, it was unfortunately common and completely legal to own enslaved people, and the enslaved people could be physically disciplined. Yet there were certain rules to deter excessive physical cruelty. Even though these rumors were circulating, whenever Delphine was seen out in public with her enslaved people, she was extremely kind to them and treated them well. She even freed 2 of them in 1819 and in 1832. However, on one occasion, a man threw himself out of a 3rd-story window in the Lalaurie home, choosing to die rather than be subjected to Delphine's torture. The 3rd-story window was then cemented shut, and this is still visible today. Another witness report said a neighbor saw a small child flying across the yard towards the house, and Delphine was pursuing her. They ended up on the roof. The witness said that she heard the fall and saw the child taken up, her body bending and limbs hanging as if every bone were broken. At night, she saw the body being brought out and a shallow hole dug by torchlight and the body covered over. This child was 12-year-old Leah, and there are reports saying that Leah fell off or that she was actually pushed. However, this happened because Leah pulled a little too hard and accidentally hurt Delphine while brushing her hair. This caused Delphine to go into a rage and whip the little girl. Leah was so scared of further punishment that they ended up on the roof. After this incident, an investigation took place, and charges of unusual cruelty were put against Delphine, and she was fined $300. 9 enslaved people were removed from her home. Some reports say that the police made Delphine sell the 9 people, and that she sold them to relatives, and then eventually got them back. What can be proven is the fact that Delphine did manage to get those 9 people back. Allegedly, Delphine also abused her 2 daughters, especially when the girls showed any sort of kindness towards the enslaved people. In the spring of 1834, the Lalaurie mansion was set on fire by a 70-year-old black woman who was chained to the kitchen stove. The police found the woman chained to the stove, and it was revealed that she had actually started the fire in an attempt to end her life, as she was so fearful of Delphine's punishment. Delphine had kept her chained up all day and punished her for the slightest infraction. The woman knew that she would get thrown into the attic for starting the fire. The attic was a room that all of the enslaved people feared. So there are 2 reports on this. Either the authorities went up to the attic, or it was actually a group of angry bystanders who broke the doors down. It was said when the house was on fire that only Delphine was standing outside, and people were confused by this because, 1, the house is massive, and there's no way that it was only her inside. People had also seen her with enslaved people, so they were confused. Where is everybody? So the story goes that the angry bystanders went in to rescue the slaves, and they found a horrific sight. No one was prepared for what was in the attic. There were 7 slaves that were brutally mutilated and tortured. Their limbs had been stretched, and some of them were hanging from the ceiling. Others were chained to walls. Their eyes had been gouged out, skin flayed, and some of them had their mouths filled with excrement and then sewn shut. Others had their hands sewn to their body. There were also several dead bodies in the attic. Some reports say that there were a few bodies. However, others state that there was hundreds. One of the most disturbing reports I read was that there was allegedly a woman wrapped in human intestines. The witness also claimed that there was people with holes in their skulls and wooden spoons near them, and that they would be used to stir their brains. Delphine would also flog and flay the enslaved people, and they wore spiked iron collars to prevent their head from moving. Numerous enslaved people were tortured, starved, and beaten. Apparently, there was even a secret door where she kept secret enslaved people for her husband to practice Haitian voodoo medicine on. Before Delphine could be questioned, she escaped the House of Horrors. After the fire, 2 of the rescued enslaved people died from their injuries. The backyard was dug up and bodies were unearthed. The body of the child who had fell from the roof was found. Reports vary on how many others were buried in the yard. A mob of angry townspeople ransacked the home, smashing the windows, tearing down doors, until almost nothing remained but the outside walls. Not much is known about what became of Delphine after the fire. It is suspected that she fled to France, and according to archive records, it is believed that she died in Paris in 1849. However, there is a tomb in New Orleans St. Louis Cemetery that reads, Delphine passed away in Paris on the 7th of December 1842, which means that she had actually died 7 years earlier than the French archives claimed. It is widely believed that she fled to Paris only to once again return to New Orleans with a new name and continue her brutal ways. Her body has never been found, or any records that indicate conclusively what happened to her. Her daughters said that they sometimes would hear from her through letters. So, what happened to the house? Soon after the fire, the house was converted into an apartment complex, and a tenant was murdered. However, the unusual nature of his death makes people believe that it is tied to paranormal activity. In the mid-19th century, the Lalaurie mansion functioned as an all-girls school, where students often experienced bizarre and random physical assaults. At one point, the home was even a furniture store. In 2007, actor Nicolas Cage bought the house. Allegedly, he had never even lived in it. Cage lost the home due to foreclosure 2 years later. Today, the house is an infamous New Orleans landmark. Many visitors pass the house and view it from the outside. It is now a private residence, and tourists are not permitted inside the home. Well, that is the end of today's video. I hope everybody is staying happy, safe, and healthy. And hopefully you guys will stick around to watch more videos in the future. Thanks, bye!